Hassan, just let me know when we are ready.
I think I just it's on LinkedIn.
Recording in progress.
Hassan, are we ready?
Yes, I think we're live.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum. My name is Sana Shah, and I'm the Creative Manager at the National Incubation Center Karachi. And as a part of Nick Turn 50 celebration today, we are having our Pakistan Investor Summit. And before we bring up where our amazing VCs are going to meet with around 37 startups, we have a short opening session with a few of the VCs. So I would just like to thank all the organizations जो आज इस event का हिस्सा बनी हैं. So we have I2I Ventures, N2 Technology, 47 Ventures, Indus Valley Capital, Skybridge, KASB, High Output Ventures, Gold Investments, PKF, Accelerate Prosperity, Fatma Gobi Ventures, CPL Ventures, and Neosile Ventures. So welcome to all of you, and I would request our project director, Mr. Umar Abdin, for welcome notes and then
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Sana, for that introduction. You said about half the things that I wanted to say in my opening remarks, so I think that's going to save everyone a lot of time. As you know, the National Incubation Center Karachi is turning 3 this month, and it's been a crazy 3 years. We've just launched our 7th cohort. Many of you were actually involved in the judging of the applications for that cohort as well, and it promises to be quite an interesting group of people that has come together in cohort 7. That was the first part of our celebrations of our 3rd birthday. Today's event is the second part of that. And so I would like to take just a minute to thank everyone, especially all of the judges who have come out today and are lending their support to the ecosystem in Pakistan. Thank you all so much for your time, for your energy, and hopefully for your checkbooks and the term sheets that will follow these discussions. Some of you are smiling, others of you have, I think, perfected your poker faces over the years. I appreciate that. It is very hard to get pitched to as often as some of you do. Today's startups are among the best and brightest. We hope that you will have a positive and interesting interaction with them this afternoon. And we do have an announcement to follow the opening remarks, and for that I will hand over to Asfar. But for now, welcome to the Pakistan Investor Summit 2021. And I would like to ask Athar Imran Saab from Skybridge if he would like to say a few words. Thank you, and look forward to a very, very interesting session.
Thank you, Umar. Thank you, Sana. It's great to be here. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as a short keynote, as Sana earlier said, so you picked the wrong guy to go first. But it's a pleasure to be here. NICs are a critical part of our ecosystem. They have done remarkably well, not only Karachi, but all the other ones. And I have interacted with startups from NICs, all the 5 NICs. I'm representing Skybridge, which is a Laxon Group company. So we do have a VC fund in the group that I also help with. But Skybridge by itself is not a VC, but as a corporate arm, we do opportunistic investments whenever we see there is a startup that aligns with what we are trying to see and do in the next 3 to 5 years, something that we may do or build ourselves, something we may just invest into. I think we've already done a couple of investments into startups. And that's, I think, my take would be that all these startups should also consider evaluating the corporate setups, which a lot of the investments abroad also are corporate VCs, not just VC funds. But the alignment with the corporate aims has to be there, because most of the corporate investments are really strategic in nature first before they are financial. But that's one. The second is, again, I want to congratulate NIC Karachi to turning 3, and then a lot of startups that have come out. They've done well. It's a very, very interesting time. I don't have to tell that. Especially in the last 2 years, lots of investments coming in, lots of new sectors being unleashed. I think next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see more of that happening. So if you are a startup, I think you're in an interesting time. You just have to be very clear which problem you're solving. It's not the matter of which solution that you take to the market. At the end of the day, considering our lag effect, considering our delta, it is really a matter of picking up the right solution to solve the problem. And a lot of startups that I've seen, they get more involved into the technology part or how cool the solution is. I think at the end of the day, it may be a very primitive solution, but if it solves the problem, I think that's where the returns would be. So happy to talk. I have shortlisted about 6-7 startups that I feel have a good alignment with what we are trying to do. I think more corporates should come in. We saw Finja getting an investment yesterday or 2 days ago, in which HPL Ventures was a participant as well. That's exactly the kind of things that the banks, the telcos, and the large corporates, industrial and otherwise, should do. That's their way to innovate. As I said, all large organizations have a soulmate in some startup. That's the way we function. And I'm very happy to talk. And even if there is more help that is needed across about any of the companies of the Laxam Group, I'd be happy to help those startups as well. So uncharacteristically, I will stop here and let the elders, Sharyar, and all the smarter people, Atef and everybody I can see, I think I let more time to them. But Sana, Umar, thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure, and hope to see a good session with all the startups.
Thank you, sir. So, Atef, if you would like to say a few words.
Sure, thank you. Congratulations on turning 3 to NIC community. NICs have played a critical role over the years, and to the current batch, you're starting these companies at a very, very good time. There are people who've tried in early 2010s and 2015. It's a much harder time for the ecosystem. In just last 2 years, I think in terms of Pakistan's perception abroad, the capital flow, things couldn't have gone better. I've only engaged over the last couple of years. And lots of people who've helped make this happen, but it's finally super exciting that level of support, that level of initial funding is available for all of you to realize your vision. So be mindful of that, and what that means is you can think bigger, right? So do not limit your vision by saying, "Oh, Pakistan mein paise nahi aayenge ya ye nahi hoga." So stop telling yourself no, and it's hard because it's an ingrained habit. We've heard it so many times from people you respect as well, and it was a different era. But one of the things that incredible founders are very good at is that they can adapt very quickly, right? Both to good times and bad times. And right now, it's good times. Adapt to that. Think bigger. Be ambitious. Be bold. It's a pretty exciting time to build things. I personally am looking forward to talking a few of you later. But in general, too, reach out. So if Omar is connected with me directly, Asfar is connected with me directly, Sana is connected with me directly. So one of the things these incubators allow is they create all these connections, right? So that's the network, and that's the value of being part of this community. It's not just the free internet. It's the people who are, have left their careers to help you do it. So leverage it, bother them, say, I want to be this person or that person, make them, do it, and they're eager to do it. So those are the only two things I'd say. Excited to be with everyone here, and looking forward to doing the pitches. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mevish?
Hi, Sana. Yeah, so actually, I think Asad is the right person you want to talk to because he's from Ventures, I'm from Accelerators. So I'm going to volunteer.
Okay, so sure. So we would request Asad and then Umar Parvez Khan, and then we can proceed with the announcement and then pick up it. Okay.
Guys, thanks for this. So firstly, I've been following the NIC since the start and really proud of all the work that's happened, both from the management standpoint and then also from the founders themselves, right from the first cohort all the way through right now. The quality has certainly improved a great deal, and we're seeing a lot of great startups, some good initiatives as well. So I think all around, I think it's been fantastic. Beyond that, I also want to just take one moment to just recognize our ecosystem. So I've been part of the ecosystem probably since the start. I still remember the days, maybe 5 years ago when there was maybe one or two incubators and accelerators, no VC funds, and you would literally have to go pillar to post to find startups. And I think where we are today with multiple VC funds, multiple incubators, all the NIC incubators as well, and hundreds of startups, and the quality only increasing. So I think we're at a really, really great place in terms of how our ecosystem is developing, all the capital that's flowing in. Of course, Atif and all the others are also doing a great job in connectivity with Silicon Valley and some of the other regional players with Middle Eastern VCs, etc. as well. So I do definitely want to take a moment to recognize and really applaud ourselves for all the developments that have happened. And I think this is just the start. We have a long way to go from here as well.
Thank you so much. Umar?
Hi everyone, Umar Parvez from Hybrid Ventures. Nice to see a lot of familiar faces. First of all, I would like to thank NIC Karachi for inviting me and congratulate them on Nick Turns 3. I've attended quite a few events organized by NIC Karachi and have had the honor of knowing and even working with quite a few startups that have been part of the program. Having engaged with several members of the team as well, I can say with confidence that they are passionate about what they're doing and passionate about the Pakistani ecosystem. I know firsthand that they do what they do for the right reasons, and their contribution to the growth of Pakistan startup scene has been immense. One of their many initiatives I thoroughly enjoy is why we are here today, the Investor Summits. I don't think I've ever missed a single Investor Summit in which I was given the opportunity to attend. It is a format that cuts out all the middle part and gets startups directly in front of investors. I think startups get much needed experience in engaging with investors, and for investors it's also really good to keep touching base with what's happening on the ground and hopefully also find some good investments. I like to say that the best deal flow is dark, and events like this really help illuminate the deal flow for all of us, and I really look forward to speaking to the startups today. So when Astor said that we might ask you to say a few words before the event, I thought I might talk about the ecosystem in general, how it started, how it's going, and where it's going to go, and give some inspirational sort of talk to founders, how they are one of the vital pieces, and they play a pivotal role in it all. But whenever I'm given the opportunity or a platform to speak to founders directly, I try to give some sort of piece of advice that's really specific, and they can take to their businesses and sort of apply to it. So one thing that I would like to tell them today is that it is very important for them to understand how the world values things in this world, basically how everyone values things in this world. And within that, basically, I want to tell them that ideas themselves don't have any value. The world doesn't value ideas. The world values execution. And I think if I can also connect it to what Athar said, He said sometimes, the most primitive solution might be the best solution. And you don't really need to get hung up on the tech you're using and everything. And I think that relates to that, to what I'm trying to say, is that when you go out to build a company, any business, any startup, and you go to solve something, there are like a million ideas generated every second. I think everyone in this world probably at some point of their life has a very good idea that has the potential to become really big. The only difference is I don't think even 0.001% of those people even try to execute, let alone do it well. So when you go back today, if there's one thing that I would like you to take away from what I'm trying to say today, is that figure out how you can prove to the world that you are able to execute. And if you're able to do that, then your conversations with people will become much more pleasant, whether they're investors, whether they're vendors, whether they're co-founders or any other strategic partners. If you can show them that you're the person who delivers results, you will be rewarded. Everyone wants to work with those sort of people. That's all I have to say. Thank you and good luck today.
Thank you so much. So we have a special announcement to make today, and the team from Team Labs is here, and Asper is going to break this news for all of us. Over to Asper.
Thank you, Sana. And we have Rabil. Hello, Rabil.
Hey, nice to meet everyone.
Okay, good to hear. So I was referred to Rabil's company, Seed Lab, by one of our startups, Karachi. So he just shared that it's a wonderful company and it has worked on a fintech product. It's a futuristic product. It's an amazing product, and they have got investments. Okay, so I searched the company and I got to know. And then Hamza from Seed Lab met me and shared this wonderful news. But the best part is, and I would want Rabil to elaborate on that everyone in the company is under 30, in fact, 28. So I formally welcome Rabil. And Rabil, tell us more about Seed Lab. And since we have like 5 minutes before we start our one-to-one meetings, more about Seed Labs and your wonderful product, D-Trade. So tell us more about your company and about yourself and the under 30 phenomenon. So over to you.
All right. Thank you for the introduction, and we're grateful to be over here. I graduated 2 years ago. I studied physics at UPenn. And then I co-founded Seed Labs with Yamin, who was the valedictorian for the Gold Medalist of FAST in 2017. We were super excited about fintech, and we wanted to build something that was pushing the envelope of technological innovation. And so we started to build a decentralized derivatives exchange. So essentially being able to trade without needing a clearinghouse or a brokerage. And the way to do that is using derivatives. So we built a perpetual swap exchange. A perpetual swap is basically a contract that is a derivative of an underlying, and it's a cash settled derivative. So it basically tracks any asset. For example, you can long Apple stock, and it'll converge to the Apple price using this thing called a funding rate mechanism. And derivatives actually are the largest asset class in the world. We just don't know about them too much because they're not in Pakistan. And part of good things about derivatives are that, for example, commodities, you can't really hold commodities and you don't need to exchange commodities. You can just trade derivatives of them. And a perpetual swap is essentially a future that doesn't expire. And so we recently closed our funding round. It was a $6.4 million funding round. Most of the investors were from abroad, and most of the investors were institutional liquidity providers. So collectively, the liquidity providers on our cap table process over $28 billion a day. And we have market making agreements with them that they will keep the assets on our exchange within 10 to 15 basis points of their underlying assets. And these assets can range from commodities, from equities, from digital assets, to even pre-IPO stocks. And there's going to be more announcements following in the next few days.
Wonderful. So, very wonderful. So, and there are other products in the portfolio of Seed Labs as well. So, you guys primarily work on fintech, or there are other offerings?
Right now, it's just fintech, and this is the first thing we're working on. And even future products, they're always going to be within fintech. It's just we are really passionate about financial markets, and we just love technology as well. So it's all going to be focused on the fintech route.
Very wonderful. So I think so we are almost out of time now, but thank you, Rabil, and it's a wonderful news for the ecosystem. I know they are not incubated at NIC Karachi, but we believe that this ecosystem announcement and this wonderful news coming in from the Karachi ecosystem of this wonderful young founder raising $6.4 million, it's a great welcome sign for all of us, and some great news to come in the future.
From all of you.
Yeah, I think a round of applause is due. Let's do a real one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well done.
So wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
To you, sir.
So before we end this live session, I request if you all can please switch on your cameras for a quick snapshot.
Salman, Jawad, Bilal, Anita.
Sidra. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
I think so. Are we done? Thank you so much. So now, Hassan, are we ending the Facebook Live session?
We'll end the live session now, and we'll move to the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the VCs, we're going to send you all to your designated room first, and then हर room में NIC Karachi का एक team member आपके साथ होगा who's going to send the designated startup to your room. Okay, so we'll just start this now.
Guys, can we end the live stream, please?
Great. I think we